Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Indah Fatihaturrahmah Alhaq. In this occasion, I'm going to deliver a presentation about the research that I have conducted. The title of the research is an investigation of needs analysis and the English textbook used for accounting major students. This presentation is structured as follows. To begin with, I'm going to talk about the introduction, then the literature review, and then the research method, the results, and finally the conclusion. This presentation will approximately take about 10 minutes. The background of this research is the use of textbook in a classroom is very common in Indonesia. Students from elementary school to senior high school, even higher education, use textbook for their classroom learning. Even Indonesian Ministry of Education and Culture has designed a textbook for every course and every grade. That is why the textbooks that are used in Indonesian schools are commonly the same. Vocational schools have various different majors. Based on the Indonesian government rule number 17, year 2010, article 80, the study program in vocational school is categorized into 9. Several of them are technology and engineering, information and communication, health, fisheries and marine, and etc. Logically, these students couldn't possibly have the same textbook because their needs also differ from one another. For example, English for business students must be very different from English for medical students. For that reason, the researcher decides to investigate whether the English textbook that is used by 11th grade students of accounting major in a vocational school is compatible with the needs of the students. There are 2 research questions raised in this study. They are, what is the needs analysis of English skills for the 11th grade accounting major students? And the second one is, to what extent the materials in the English textbook Bahasa Inggris kelas 11 untuk SMA, MA, SMK, MAK are compatible with the needs of 11th grade students of accounting major. The next one is a literature review. So, talking about ESP in Indonesia, many problems found by the graduates of Indonesian vocational school in the work industry. It is known from the number of companies that complain about the unreadiness of the graduates for work. It is because the vocational graduates currently have skills below 1, including English language skills. This means that their skills are insufficient to work. It is suspected that there are many things that cause this problem. However, too often are the unavailability of teachers' awareness and competencies. And the second one is the incompatibility of the curriculum, including the materials, with the future career needs of the students. And there are 5 processes in developing an ESP course. It is started from needs analysis and then continue to course design, in which the teacher or other stakeholders choosing the appropriate materials for the students, and then continue to teaching and learning process, in which the teacher decides the compatible teaching and learning methodology, and then choosing the appropriate assessment criteria, and finally evaluating the course strategy. By doing needs analysis, we can find out what students know, what they don't know, what they are good at, what aspects they have difficulties on, and what they need. That is why needs analysis is placed in the first place, so that the course design, teaching and learning methodology, and etc. can be designed based on the needs of the students. And in textbook evaluation, Cunningsworth argued that the reason of conducting a textbook evaluation is to locate the strengths and also weaknesses in the textbook. Cunningsworth also mentioned 4 criteria for textbook evaluation, namely, the textbook should meet the needs of the students, the objectives, and also the goals of the program. The textbook should help equip the students to use language effectively. The textbook should facilitate the students' learning process, and the textbook should support the learning process. Okay, so the research method. This study adopts a qualitative case study. The researcher decides to use a qualitative case study because it helps the researcher in exploring a phenomenon deeply. And the participants in this study were the 11th grade students of accounting major of one of a vocational school in Lampung province. The students were participating in answering needs analysis questionnaire, and some of them were also interviewed about their needs. The questionnaires were distributed to 71 students, and of the 71 students, 67 students submitted the questionnaires. And the data in this research were gained through questionnaire, focus group discussion, or FGD, and document analysis. To get the needs analysis data from the students of accounting major, the researcher distributed a needs analysis questionnaire. The questionnaire included open-ended questions in order to gain in-depth information from the students. FGD, or focus group discussion, was needed in order to gain in-depth information about the needs of the students and also the students' perspectives about their English textbook. And the textbook that was analyzed in this study is Bahasa Inggris kelas 11 untuk SMA, MA, SMK, MAK. Okay, in data analysis, the data were analyzed and interpreted in several steps. The first step, of course, was analyzing the questionnaire. In analyzing the questionnaire data, the researcher wrote the percentage of each aspect measured, located the trend or the highest percentages of each aspect, read each of students' reasons carefully since the questionnaires include open-ended questions, identified response categories, and finally made a narrative interpretation about the needs analysis data. The second step of the data analysis was the researcher transcribed the interview since it was video recorded to evince the data or to show the data in a written document. Then the researcher identified response categories and finally wrote the findings. Once the needs analysis data were interpreted, the researcher analyzed the textbook used by the students by comparing the needs of the students with the textbook so that the research questions can be answered. And the results of this study are the majority of the students agree that all of the skills in English are needed to learn. However, speaking skill becomes the most needed skill of all the skills. So according to the students, speaking skill is the most needed skill in accounting field. The students stated that speaking skill is not only needed for communicating with their clients or customers later or delivering presentation in several meetings, but also needed even before they got the job. So they stated that nowadays companies prefer hiring employees with good English to communicate. That is why speaking skill becomes the most needed skill by the students. And the English textbook that is analyzed couldn't meet the needs of the students. It is because the textbook is designed not only for vocational school students, but also for high school students in general. It can be seen from the title of the textbook, and the textbook also pays attention to all of the language skills, which is good for general English skills. However, in ESP, it depends on the needs analysis because it's the needs analysis that determines which language skill is needed the most by the students. And to sum up, all of the students agree that all of the English skills are needed in accounting field. However, the majority of the students agree that speaking skill is the most needed skill in accounting field, followed by vocabulary skill. The English textbook that was analyzed didn't provide the materials that are compatible with the needs of the students. And the recommendation would be, before designing teaching material for vocational school students, it is necessary to do a needs analysis beforehand. Because by doing a needs analysis, the designer of the textbook or other materials can design them based on the needs of the students. This is one of the many ways that we can do to improve the quality and also the skills of vocational schools graduates. Thank you.